Howdy people, I am here at Comic Con and I'm meant to have been recording content all weekend, and guess who hasn't? This one. So instead I've got a lovely guest here. This is Darren. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Darren. Most of you will probably know me as iPhoto UK.
You are one of the organisers for Secret Con.
I am
one of
indeed.
my favourite events. I promise guys I'm not sponsored, I just love the event. But we might have a little bit of information coming
Maybe.
in one of these videos if I'm a good boy. You won't get it then. So today we wanted to discuss creator passes, which are an interesting and controversial topic. So Dan's got some strong opinions on them.
So yeah, I mean obviously, you know, quite a few of you out there will have at least applied for creator passes at some point in your cosplay time. Some of you are cosplayers, some of you are photographers, maybe some of you shoot video content, and no doubt at some point you will have all been declined. More often than not, we don't get reasons why we're declined, and sometimes we're declined year on, year out, and we have no information or reason as to why that is. As someone, as Declan's already said, that organises events, or as part of the team that organises events, we don't operate creator passes.
I was going to say, that's what SequelCon doesn't, because everyone that comes
right.
to SequelCon is a creator in a way, because it's only cosplayers and photographers.
That's right. But we want everyone to be equal, so we don't feel that, you know, people should be allowed at our events just because you've got a certain amount of followers, or they should be entitled to free tickets because you've got a certain amount of followers or a certain engagement. We believe everyone that comes to our event should be on a level playing field and have the same opportunity as everyone else.
I do just want to say though, they do free tickets if you volunteer some time. So
Absolutely.
if you're ever struggling financially but want to go to an event, you can have a free ticket in exchange for, is it hour and a half?
It's normally about an hour and a half, yeah. That may change for next year's events because we're changing the way we do things a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you want more information on that, check out our socials, drop us a DM, drop us an email via our website. If you're interested in volunteering at our events, we're always looking for new people to volunteer. It's, you know, it's a great way to get access to our events. It's a great way to get access to information as well. Yeah, so if you're interested, drop us a line.
Yeah. So you can get a free ticket, but not for being a creator. Creator passes for me, so, okay, this is something people might not know about Comic-Con. So we're going to talk MCM, because they're the ones I've had the most experience with. They basically have 4 types of passes. They have an exhibitor pass, so that's someone that is got a stall here. So you could be an artist, you could an artist alley, or you could be some other vendor, but that's an exhibitor pass. You have a press pass. So a press pass is for someone who is a photographer or works in the industry. Oh no, there's 5 passes, because industry passes is a separate one.
Industry pass, that's right.
Yeah. So it's press is someone who's a photographer, someone who works for like is writing news articles. Any of those criteria can get you a press pass. And I'll discuss my issues with press passes in a bit. So what we've got there, we've got exhibitor, press, industry. So if you work in the video game industry, if you work in a comic industry, any of those things, you can request an exhibitor pass. No, you can't. You can request a industry pass. You need to be at a certain level within your field. You can't just work at Waterstones and to be like, well, I work in a book industry, so I get a free pass.
They've also started charging for industry passes now as well.
Have they?
It's £25 for an industry pass for a weekend.
Okay, so that's new. They always were a free pass because they wanted the coverage, and the idea would be you'd come see what the hot new things are, you'd come see the books in the like artist alley, and you'd start stocking them. So that's unusual that they start charging for that. Then you have the normal paid weekend or individual day passes, a general priority. I'm classing that as 1 ticket because you pay X amount to come. And then the last one is the creator pass. And the theory behind a creator pass is you're meant to be at the event with a significant amount of followers. Significant is an interesting part there. And you then are meant to create content throughout the weekend to drum up some hype and get people interested to come into future events. As with everything, there is some kind of compensation happening. So like you're getting a freebie in exchange for content. There is an exchange of goods and services, it's just not financial. They're very ambiguous. I have seen content creators, this is going to make me sound bitter, and I'm not, I don't care. I run a photography business, and I put my events through the books, so me going to an event is a networking event, so I'm not paying for it, essentially the business is. But I've seen people with like under 1,000 followers sometimes that are getting creator passes, which I'm happy for them. I think it's really good.
Totally.
But then I look and I'm thinking, okay, well I've got 10,000 and I've been declined, and I'm like, what are they doing?
I've known people with 15 and 20,000 followers with a really good active engagement as well.
Yeah, because this is another thing, is you need to look at engagement rates. So a good engagement rate is something, it changes depending on the amount of followers you've got. But for 10,000 followers, you expect like a 1%, no you don't. You expect about 5%, I think it is.
3 to 5%.
3 to 5% engagement rate. So that's kind of what, you don't expect every photo to get 10,000 likes, but you do expect them to get a few hundred normally. So it's looking at the quality of people liking your stuff and engaging.
Totally.
So you've had some issues with creative
I have. So I originally applied for, and I will use MCM as an example to start with. I applied for a creator pass for MCM London in October this year, when their applications first opened, sort of way back at the start of the year, sort of just after, I think, probably just after the May event, I would have thought.
Yeah.
And I was declined. So I was like, okay, that's fine, no issues. Bear in mind, I've been coming to MCM events on either press passes or creator passes, or even in some terms industry passes, since 2018 to every single Birmingham and London event. All of a sudden, May this year, they started declining me. Not just myself, quite a few other people that I know, creatives, cosplayers, videographers, all started getting declined with no reasoning.
And that's the thing that I find the most annoying, is they're not telling you what the issue is, so you can't work towards it next year. If they're like, you need to make your engagement better, or you need to do something, you can set that as a goal to better your content, to better what you're doing. But if they're not giving you that information, then you can't improve yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I just accepted it. So okay, that's fine. I'll decide a bit nearer to whether I'm, how many days I'm going to go for. And in that time, I went to quite a lot of other events, created quite a lot of new content. I started working with a few brands on affiliate programs. Also got invited to quite a few cool events, like the CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty tour. It was great.
So jealous.
It really was. And so I thought, well, about 3 weeks before MCM London, I thought, well, I'm actually doing quite a lot of industry related things here, so I applied for an industry pass, fully knowing that if I got accepted I'd have to spend £25, which is fine. It's better than the £90 plus that they were charging at the time for a weekend. And they came back and declined my access for industry, and in the email said, however, upon reviewing your application, we'd like to request that you reapply for a creator pass. And at this point I thought, well, that's a bit strange, but I have done a lot of new content, my engagement had changed, so I thought, okay, that's fine. So I reapplied, and within about 5-6 days before the event,
so my train's running currently.
so I reapplied for my creator pass and got accepted. About 5-6 days before the event. I thought, great, brilliant. Obviously a lot's changed in my engagement, my profile, my Instagram. Went along to the event, had a great weekend. I will say MCM London has come under some serious criticism in the last 18 months, but the recent October event was much better. They've actually listened to people.
Yeah, and I sent them I did send emails and feedback saying, look, I'm really impressed with what you're doing.
Yeah, and quite a few of my friends applied quite late and they got accepted for creator. So I created some really good content, both outside of the event in the car park and by the docks, but also inside the event. They had a really cool big American bus in the area. And
the Buffy one.
The Buffy bus, yeah, the Slayer bus.
I loved the Johnny Silverhand pictures
Thank
you
you.
did of that.
It just worked, and it was within the confines of the grounds. Great content. It got really good engagement. So when I came back from MCM London, I applied for Birmingham. They declined me.
Because one of the questions they ask, if you've not done the form before, is have you had an event ticket, so a creator ticket before? And if so, can you link us to content that you've done from that event? Because you can't just get a free ticket and then that's it. You've got to be giving something.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I did. I used some of those photos as an example, and then they came back quite late on towards the Birmingham event, with less than a week to go, and declined my creator pass. By that
You're
time,
not creative enough.
probably. By that time, Saturday tickets had already sold out, and it just left me wondering, like, why? And I reached out to a few people that I know, and they'd had the same issue. A lot of people got declined, and a lot of people also reached out to MCM to ask for some feedback, and not one of us have had a single response, which is disappointing, because we just want to know where we stand, where we've got to shoot to, what we need to do. We don't just want a free ticket, we want to actively engage with these events, because us engaging with them engaging with us, it helps us, it helps them, it helps everybody. But they've still failed to come back and respond. I also then recently applied for a creator for another Comic-Con event. I'm not going to name this event because I had a conversation with somebody recently. I don't want to bring names into it, and I got declined for that also, for an event next year. So I reached out to one of their staff on their Discord group, and just asked if we could have a conversation, get some insight, some feedback. And initially some of the responses from them came back a little bit scripted. We don't like to give too much information away, we like to give it to a wide range of follower levels, etc. But then we started engaging further, and we were actually chatting for a good hour and a half. And some of the things that came back were quite surprising, particularly from the photography aspect. So, they did say that they were actively trying to reach out to accounts who've got smaller followings at the moment, because they want to help them build, which I fully understand. They're giving people with not massive engagement, not massive follower counts a chance, which I think is fantastic. But one of the things they said that they judge people on in a negative way is they constantly see a lack of content shot within the event from photographers and videographers. Shot out in the car parks, shot outside of the confines of the events, not looking like the images were shot at the events. And whilst I get that, I also take a bit of an issue with that, for the simple fact is that the majority of events don't give us enough opportunity within the events to shoot creatively. The person who I spoke to, he even admitted that yes, it's very difficult for us to shoot within events, to make things not look the same year in, year out.
So the struggle I've had, I actually at this point haven't walked into the con this year. I've not even gone in, wasted a ticket. Worst part is I left my tickets at home for the weekend pass, and I bought a Sunday pass on my way up, and I've not even gone in today.
Wow.
So I'm just an idiot. You knew that. So one of my biggest things is there isn't a variety of space in there, but there's also too many people.
Yes.
Like trying to get in there, take a photo of someone, unless I am zoomed in to like 100 mil and I do a cropped in portrait, which I love, and a lot of my photos I do portrait shots, like comic portraits, which I don't have an issue with.
But again, that wouldn't be showing the event
No,
itself.
this is it.
So
I can't get a full person without having to spend an hour retouching people out. I don't have the time for that.
No.
The other thing, one of the best ones, were you at October 21, London.
Yes.
Rings of Power.
Yes.
They had a giant stand there. I'm sure it's Rings of Power. And it looked like very Greek with like crumbling like pillars and vines and all sorts.
But again, that's just one area.
It was only one area, but it was a great place to shoot.
Yeah.
There is a few people. So 2023 October had 3 or 4 like square booths set up.
Yes.
So there was one for
The Exorcist.
That's what I remembered.
Yeah.
I think it was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
There was a Disney Channel one.
That's right.
And there was something else. But the way they're set up is very
Disney
much.
Channel one looked like a casting couch. It was
Yeah.
strange.
It did. But the thing with it is, they're very much set up for phone photography.
Yes.
Because you don't have much space, you
They're very
can't
square.
stand back. They are set up for an Instagram square photo, which I respect. But unfortunately, that's not a professional photo. That's not what you're there for.
No.
I think they should have a creator or creative section.
Definitely.
There's always a section of Comic-Con that's like a hall that they're not using, and they've booked and paid for. Shove some stuff in it. Give us some interesting like
Walls, backdrops.
Yeah.
We can provide our own lights. We can provide our own cosplayers and props. But
This is it. We just need interesting backdrops, and that is one of our biggest things.
I think if they gave us something within the event, I get what they're saying. They want content that they can use to advertise. It's an event. It's a Comic-Con, and I'd be more inclined and happier to shoot some stuff like that with loads of people in the background. If I could then turn to my left, turn to my right, walk to the other side of the hall, and then shoot some stuff that wasn't like that was still within the event. That would also help to combat days like today when it's pouring with rain and we can't shoot outside. But coming from someone who likes to shoot very sort of cinematic style photography, I do have a bit of a set style in the types of cosplays that I shoot these days. It just
Sci-fi.
it just gives us very little to go on. And I don't just want to go inside the halls just to shoot some content for them and then come out to shoot my own stuff, because if I just plaster that stuff all over my feed, it won't get any engagement.
It doesn't look organic.
Exactly.
This is the thing, it looks like a paid advert.
Exactly.
Like I'm a Sneak affiliate, same as yourself. But I will only put content out there when it works and when it's appropriate.
Exactly.
I use the product, I like the product, but I'm not going to just shove it down a follower's throat. That just doesn't work.
I mean, I will actually come on to that in a moment. So something else that the guy said to me about the event with regards to creator passes is, as well as the lack of content shot within, is that they don't want people to see it as just a free ticket. And I get that. They said they want to see it as a cross-platform marketing tool, which again I totally get.
I totally agree with that. That's what I was saying earlier. It's a different way of payment.
Yeah.
You're exchanging goods and services. You're exchanging promotional content for a free ticket.
But I do have an issue with it, in that we take shots, we post the shots to social media, we'll tag or collaborate with the cosplayer, we'll tag the events, we'll hashtag the events, we'll share on the stories, we'll tag the events again, we'll tag the event organisers. But all as we get from the events is a free ticket. They don't share our content, they don't post our content to their own profiles, or at least very rarely, they don't set up creative profiles on their website to promote people, photographer of the month, cosplayer of the month, etc, etc. They rarely set up exhibitions. I know MCM have had some exhibitions recently, but they've been run by Cosplay Central and the Cosplay Journal, purely off their own backs. They've managed to get a little bit of engagement from MCM, but it's been very, very forced. So therefore, if these events aren't going to actively engage in the cross-platform marketing that they're saying they want this to be used as, and all as they're going to do is give us a free ticket, then it's going to be very difficult for people to not just see it as a free ticket.
Yeah.
And also, you know, times are hard, so people will always go after a free ticket. It's the path of least resistance. If people can save £95 when they're paying upwards of £1,000 for a hotel for a weekend, then you know, I get why people might do that as well.
Yeah. My other thing is going on to the socials. They don't tag creators. So I've mentioned before about a couple of cosplay friends, and they've had photos put up there of their cosplays. They've even been used in marketing for the event, and the least they can do is tag them. Now I understand by buying a ticket you're signing a waiver in their terms and conditions to say you could be used.
Yeah.
I have issues with that for many reasons.
Yeah.
But they should tag the creators.
I know cosplayers that have had images used, ones that were done by professional photographers as well, images used in marketing for Comic-Con events, and they've then been turned down for a creator pass for the next event.
Yeah.
Just go figure.
So, well, you liked my content enough to use it yourself.
Precisely. So another thing that came up in the discussion was collaborative posts. So for anyone that doesn't know what a collaborative post is, if you use the likes of Instagram, you can tag and share, but you can also invite other people, other profiles to be a collaborator of that post. That then posts that to your own feed and the feeds of those that are collaborating. It's a great way, particularly for photographers, and videographers and creatives, to reach out to a wider audience.
And it also means for those who follow both of you, or like have many, you can now collaborate with 20 people, I think.
Yes, yeah, it used to be just one other person.
Yeah, it's now gone up.
It has.
But it means that you don't get the same photo posted twice, because you'll just see it in the feed, and you like it on one,
That's
and both
right.
people get a like notification.
That's right.
I mean, it's great for cleaning up feeds.
It does have its downsides. If you invite someone as a collaborator and they don't accept, Instagram limit your reach quite significantly. So just a tip there is always check if you want someone to collaborate on a post before you invite them. And it's annoying that you can't change the collaborators after you've posted it. That's one of my bugbears.
Yeah.
So it was put to me that some events, most events, when looking at Creator Pass applications, actually can look at collaborative posts in a slightly negative way, especially if you post a lot of collaborative posts. The reasoning for this, I've been told, is because they are reviewing the person that's applying, not the person that you are sharing the image with, and I kind of get that. However, most of you will probably know, if a cosplayer posts an image, it might get a few hundred likes. If they've got 20, 30k followers, it might get a couple of thousand likes. If a photographer posts the same image and has got probably 2,000 to 3,000 likes, 3,000 followers, you'll probably get less than 100 likes. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's just the way the world works, not just with cosplay, that's just how things work in the industry. Now,
And the other thing is, as a photographer, you shoot a varied portfolio, and not everyone who follows you will like every stuff you do. Like I notice I've got a lot of followers in the gay spectrum, and whenever I put images of men up, I get a higher like engagement.
Yes.
Than even if I have like a semi-spicy female shoot.
Yep.
I don't get the engagement that I expect it to.
Yeah.
Because I know my demographic.
I mean, I came from it, before I started shooting more and more cosplay, I came from an industry where I used to shoot a lot of boudoir, lingerie, art nude, erotica. So I used to get a much higher engagement on my cosplay shots of females, particularly if they were wearing a slightly sexier outfit.
Yeah.
Now I generally find my audience is quite well balanced. It's fairly split down the middle now. If I share
Mine's
an
mainly
image,
thirsty gays.
fair enough. Maybe mine's moving that way, who knows? But yeah, I get a nice split now. But to be told that if we want to go after creator passes, that we almost have to be a little bit more careful or more conscious of doing collaborative posts is a little bit of a kick in the teeth, because we really need to use those posts as a way to reach a wider audience. And I was advised the main reason is, or one of the reasons is because if we post a load of collaborative stuff and then we post an image ourselves that's a non-collab post and it only gets 50, 60, 70 likes, but for them it puts focus on that image and they look at that image more than anything else, and they...
It's like camera mishap of overheating battery. I think I'd know about that. But yeah, so I messaged you about Sneak earlier in the year because I tried it and liked it, and that was before the public thing was even available. Yeah. Because there's no point shilling stuff that you don't like and genuinely works.
Absolutely.
But you can get overdone with the influencer content.
Well, they launched their Legion project a couple of months ago, and they put it out to us, other affiliates first, to trial it, get some feedback, and then they launched it, which means that if you've got 1,000 or more followers on social media, you can apply. It's not an automatic acceptance, but a lot of people applied because they'd seen other cosplayers, other gamers promoting a product and wanted to get in on the action, and it's, you know, it's almost flooded the market. Don't get me wrong, the Legion project is great. One of the disappointments I have with a lot of affiliates is they'll chuck products at you, but you won't get any guidance, no information, no briefs about what they want you to post. Sneak is very, very different. So they'll leave a lot of it up to creative license, but they'll give you guides and briefs and help and advice on what, you know, the direction or the information on the product, and they really are fantastic for that. And they've really opened things up, certainly for the cosplay and gaming community. But it has resulted in the market being a little bit flooded. Not just for Sneak, by the way, this is for all kind of affiliate brands. And what that's resulted in is a general lack of engagement on affiliate posts. So I've gone from getting a similar sort of engagement on my Sneak posts and my other brand posts as I would on my cosplay content, to now probably getting about 10%.
Same for me, I get like 10% on anything.
Yeah, compared to, you know, I'll get 200 to 300 likes on a cosplay shop, I'll get 30 to 40 likes on an affiliate post.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna drop out, I'm just gonna pull back slightly, reassess what content I post on affiliates, take it a bit more back to base and try and make it more in line with my normal content, to just try and level that playing field a little bit.
So I recently did a shot with That Tated Pixie and Emerald Arch UK, which was set up at Gatwick. I've just uploaded a video about it, and I took some sneak shots during, just to take the mickey, but I'm going to be uploading one of those because it's in line with the rest of that series.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping it'll do better. It's not just a product shot, it's Gerald holding the metal canister.
Yeah, but what I was advised by the events company is that if they see a brand and they're, well, you know, it may or may not benefit us, but then they see it's only got 30 or 40 likes, it'll throw a massive focus on that, and again, that will go against you. So I think as creatives, we've got to be very, very careful about if we want to go after the creator passes, we need to be very, very careful about the content we're posting. Or do we just need to decide, do we want creator passes? Do we need creator passes? If all as we're getting out of it essentially is a free ticket, is it worth that much to us to have to sort of rein in some of the content we want to create?
For me, it's not.
Or do we just suck it up and go, you know what, let's strip it back to basics and go back to doing what we did before, paying for tickets, having fun, meeting some great people and creating some great content. And I think for me, that's where it's about. I've bitched and moaned about creator passes for a little while, on and off. However, running my own events, one of the things that's taught me is they're not all that. People come to our events and we rarely get asked if we do creator passes, because people just come to the events, they buy the tickets, and they come and have fun and create some great content. And I think, you know, if you're in a position where times are really that hard, then yeah, I get it. You know, maybe the only creator pass is a bit more important to you financially, but there are other ways around it. You know, there are a lot of events where to shoot cool content outside of the event, you don't really need a ticket.
Yeah, I've often said with Birmingham, you can get away with it not having a ticket for this one. You don't go into the event. Admittedly, you need to pay for these things to be able to support it, for it to still be going.
Absolutely.
So if you can afford it, pay it. But if you're unfortunately struggling for some reason at the moment, then you can be here, you can be social, you can have the parties, you can do those things without the actual ticket.
Absolutely.
So I think that's basically our thoughts on creator passes.
It is.
While I've got you on camera, let's have a sneaky secret con bit of info. Come
Why not?
on. Let's have a date for next year.
Oh, I don't know if I can.
So
dates I can't release at the moment. However, we have got something really exciting for you guys next year. So normally you guys see around 2 events from us a year.
Yeah.
So next year we're doing 3 for the first time ever. We've got a fantastic new venue around about the springtime for you. We'll be releasing some more information and dates very, very soon.
Can we release, and if you say no I can cut this out, but can you release the times for the events? You know, traditionally you do single day events.
So next year we are going to do some 2-day events. So we've been asked pretty much from the start, and we believe we've got the support now. It's a bit of a gamble for us because venue costs are high at the moment, cost to live in. However, you know, we feel we've built up a good enough following now to be able to put on 2-day events, and people have the opportunity to buy a single day ticket. Some people have the opportunity to buy a weekend ticket if they so wish and come to both days. We may even have something a little bit special in the middle going on as well. But just keep watching our socials.
And hopefully I'll get him back on and we can find some more stuff out.
Absolutely.
I want to do a whole video just about SequelCon.
Definitely, I'll be down for that.
Thank you guys very much. And Darren, your Instagram details they'll be below as well.
Yeah, so just find me on all socials apart from Twitter as just iPhotoUK. On Twitter it's I_PhotoUK because iPhotoUK wasn't available. And my website is just iPhotoUK.co.uk. I have got some calendars on sale at the minute for next year as well, so the sales for those will be open. I'm going to extend it. I was going to close them tomorrow. I'm going to extend the sales. A few people have said they're waiting for payday, so probably Wednesday, Thursday this week I'll close sales, but the link's on my website. Just go to the store. I've got 2 calendars available this year. One's a sort of sci-fi, cyberpunky style, and the other one's more a generic cosplay. So yeah, if you want to support a creator, I never charge for shoots at events, never charge for additional edits, or very, very rarely. I do a small amount of paid work for people that ask, but generally don't ask for a huge amount. I do my calendars once a year, just because I like to showcase the work that I've done at all the events and non-cosplay shoots throughout the year, and you know, help get the cosplayers' names out there as well. So yeah, jump on, get yourself a calendar for next year.
That also means I've got to edit this really quickly. Extend it to Friday.
Okay, well Friday. We'll do
Thank
Friday.
you.